live on Twitter. It is a beautiful Monday morning. We're live and local and ready to get things going. So I want to invite you to get in on the conversation. Thanks for being a part of the program. Glad that you have chosen to make us a part of your morning routine. Wow, what a weekend in sports. So we'll get to that as well. Want to invite you to join in on the conversation at 205 342 9904. 205 342 9904 on the Taco Casa hotline. I want to get you in on the conversation. Hey, come on, talk to us about what you thought about the Super Bowl. Big time game there. Was this the best run of the NFL playoffs you've seen in some time? Because, man, another great game in terms of coming down to the wire. You stayed engaged if you were watching the game for the entirety. So we can talk about that. Talk about the Alabama guys in the game and how they fared. You can also talk about um, your love or respect for Mr. Joe Burrows, one way or the other, love him or hate him. The young man's a baller, and I've told you he's a guy that I love to hate. So he's still much like Tom Brady, still has much respect on this end, and showed even more why the people of Cincinnati absolutely will be back, or will they be back? Did they catch lightning in a bottle? That's a franchise that usually doesn't put the money in to get done what they need to get done. So will they uh, will they get where they want to go in terms of repeating and getting back to the Super Bowl? Also, big game for Bama over the weekend uh, as they were able to get the victory in terms of yet another win. Can this team go on a run that gets them 5 or 6 more victories? Or will what happened in that game, some of the things that happened in that game, rear its ugly head and cause them to lose the next close one? But congrats to Nate Oates and the team for the 1 point victory over an extremely hot Arkansas team. And of course, this week they have the big game coming up with Mississippi State here at Coleman Coliseum. So we'll be breaking down that game as well. Good morning, Joe. How you doing, sir?
Oh, not too bad today, Martin. Had a full.
Softball, they got off to a great start. Um, I'm not exactly sure what all they're going to have in terms of. I think they're going by whatever year it is. This is Team 26, right? Uh,
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
Team 26. They were able to take care of some business this weekend. Lowest point total was 5 points against Oregon State. 11-0 against a top 10 team in five inning ran number 9 Arizona, which was a rematch from College World Series, Women's College World Series. 11-0 in 5 innings. 11-0 Southern Utah in 5 innings. Both shutouts were 11-0 wins, and then 8-3 over New Mexico State and 5-1 over Oregon State. So if you're the number 2 team in the country, Joe, I guess that's the way you want to start things off uh, in terms of the softball team. Now we don't talk a lot of softball, um, but if you like competitive, high speed, intense, well played sports, you will enjoy watching the women's softball uh, in terms of what they're able to do. Do you ever get out to any softball games?
Yeah, actually, I went to a handful last year, especially with the SEC tournament. The girls really started this weekend in a dominant fashion. Taking on Arizona on Saturday night with their was their kind of like marquee game, and man, they blew them right off the map. Run ruled them in
Yeah.
5 innings.
Yeah. So, and of course, a classmate, I always like to give her a shout out of mine. Coach Dana Duckworth, women's gymnastic, was also their own kind of a little win streak. Joe, they won their third in a row, and of course, one against one of their big rivals in the Power of Pink matchup with Georgia. They were able to win that one. And baseball kicking off, our first pitch coming officially. The 18th, February, Friday night, as they have a 3-game set against Xavier here in Tuscaloosa. So, if you like sports, a lot getting ready to happen in terms of the Alabama sports and spring sports. So, good to see that. Well, did you get to go to the game, Joe, Saturday with Alabama basketball?
No, I didn't go Saturday, but I mean, I watched a good portion of it, probably 80-90% of it. It was a game.
I did not get to see the
Numbers,
game.
if you still win, I mean, wow.
Joe, I did not get to see the game live. Let me see. Let me explain. I got to see the tip off. And saw the first few minutes. Then I had to travel somewhere, and then I had to coach a basketball game, and then I finished and came back, and I caught the end of the game. And so then you go back and kind of try to fill in between that, and so some of my analysis today is live. Other parts of it is based off of just looking at stats. And to me, one of the most amazing things, Joe, is if you didn't hear anything, you heard Alabama had 24 turnovers and gave up 21 offensive rebounds against a team that had won 9 games in a row. What are you thinking? I mean, you I, I was like, they had what? 24 possessions where they did not get up a shot, much less a defended shot. 24 possessions, Joe. Think about that for 1 second. 24 possessions where they turned the ball over and did not get up a shot or the second shot if they got an offensive rebound. 24 times. And then they gave Arkansas 21 more shots or attempts at shots or possessions. And they won the game by 1 point. So I guess you could look at this game two different ways, right? uh, I guess I guess you look at that and you could take it and say they found a way to win regardless of how they played, and that's a good thing, right? I mean that's a good thing for this basketball team because the other side of those statistics, Joe, is they held Arkansas to 31% shooting. So, when you do that, then I guess if you're going to turn the ball over and you hustle back on defense, that's a good thing. But one of the most impressive stats that I heard, did you hear how many points Arkansas got on those 21 rebounds?
They only gave up 10,
10,
10 or 12 points on
10,
those rebounds.
10, 10. I mean, and to me, Joe, that's about effort. Because most of the time when you give up an offensive rebound, Joe, the ball's going right back up. You know what I mean? Like a guy gets an offensive rebound, a lot of times he's already in position to take that next shot. It's not usually it's not a reset or an offensive reset. It's usually a tip back at the bucket. It's a a 12, 15 footer. Um, I'm not sure about that. And so, but the other part of the defense that I thought was impressive is they, uh, on ESPN now, they said that Alabama held Arkansas, and this is probably one of the more impressive stats I've heard in a long time. They were 9 for 25 with layups and dunks. So that either Arkansas was way off or they were contesting everything at the rim. And so maybe there's a mix there that this Alabama team has had. I'm sure Curtis Lewis is listening this morning. Nados did something a little different on the defensive end, and maybe, just maybe, it paid enough dividends, and maybe that's a reason that they're 9 for 26, 9 for 25 at the rim for dunks and layups. We'll talk about what Nados did differently, what this team did, and can this team make a run down the stretch and win, 5, 6 more games, and really go into the tournament as one of the hotter teams. 2-game win streak, big opportunity on Wednesday night. We'll talk about that. If you want to talk Super Bowl, we're ready to talk that as well. The phone lines are open. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business, 205-342-9904.
Traffic. From the Towson Nissan Traffic Center, here we go on a Monday morning. It's Valentine's, so show some love and just slow down and be careful. If you do see conditions throughout the day that folks need to hear about, give me a call. Take advantage of the Valentine's savings today at Towson Nissan. They're your hometown dealer, and you'll love the deals. I'm Captain Ray.
Tuscaloosa Tire and Service, they've got the big brands you know and trust. Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV, make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East, in Northport on Lurleen Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website, TuscaloosaTireAndService.com.
O'Reilly. This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross-country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Like getting credit for everything you do? We created 102 reasons to switch to a Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro this year. The first 100 reasons, you'll get $100 to switch. Yep, $100. Reason 101, we'll track down every last tax credit so you get every dollar you deserve. 102, we guarantee your biggest refund. Want to discover reason 103? Book an appointment at a participating location near you and get credit for everything you do. Offer ends March 6th. Available at participating retail locations for new clients only. Mention this ad when filing. Terms apply. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for details.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather. Sunshine in full supply today. Tuscaloosa's high 55. Here tonight with a low at 31. We've got a big warm up ahead tomorrow and Wednesday. Lots of sunshine both days. The high tomorrow is 68. The high Wednesday at 72. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 27 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmartdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on a beautiful Monday morning. I forgot to do it, and so I'll do it at this point. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made. So, hey, man, let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, serve someone, and especially love someone since it's Valentine's Day. Love your sweetheart, not someone else's, and show some love in today. Be the difference you want to see in the world. All right, man. Joe, it's you know, it's it was a good game, Joe. I mean, because you won. Um, how much of you think the troubleshooting, not the troubleshooting, but the turnovers was Arkansas? CJ said, Watson said that was a good tough win against Arkansas. It had ugly moments, but Arkansas had more to do with that, in my opinion, than poor play on Bama's part. Uh, and Curtis Moore agreed with him, but he said he still thinks that there was just too many, um, you know, um, no, I'm sorry, CJ said, but he still think that was too many on our side. What are your thoughts on Arkansas causing that, or them just not being tough enough to do what they need to with the ball and just getting careless?
Well, I definitely think that you got to give Arkansas some credit
Yeah.
For playing tough defense. But on the other hand, I think you have to be pretty critical of Alabama because turnovers are kind of a good indicator of focus, in my opinion. And I think that I think Alabama having 20 turnovers. Look, you had Noah Gurley with 4. You had JD with 6 and Shaq with 5. You know, you get Gurley with 4 is not really what you want to see. You see both your point guards, JD and JQ, with 6 and 5 each. Is not what you want. You got to have better protection of the ball out of those two guys, because those two guys. I mean, those two guys drive the offense, and you can't have them turning the ball over 12 times, basically.
Yeah, and part of that was, picking up some charges. And I know that I watched the Nate Oates show last night.
Some of those, oh man, the officiating Saturday. I thought I don't like to be that guy, but man, some of those calls could have gone the other way. We'll say that.
And Joe, but basketball is like it's more obvious in basketball than it is in football. But like in football, fans don't see it as much, but you can kind of tell in a football game. You can tell whether an official is going to let you hold on the offensive line. You can usually tell that pretty early on, right? If you're a DB, you can tell if they're going to let you be physical with the wide receivers, and you kind of adjust to it, right? But the fans never see it, and it's usually not really that inconsistent or obvious. Um, in basketball, to me, from game to game, you as a player have to be smart and pick up real quick who's officiating the games. Because, like you say, some of those charges could have gone either way. But once you see that they're calling it a certain way, once again, a sign of what? Maturity and focus becomes what? Okay, they're calling it, and we're not getting any of them, right? So you have to adjust to that, and sometimes this team to me has God. It's so confusing, Joe, because you love them. You're like, okay, this team, like even with the win Saturday, does the win Saturday, Joe, actually make you feel better about this basketball team, or worse? I mean,
Hey, Martin.
yeah,
The win Saturday makes me feel a bit better about this team.
yeah.
I mean, it was a good win. I understand Arkansas is unranked, but let's not forget this is a team that literally just beat the #1 team in the nation.
And explain to me, how can Arkansas have won 9 SEC games in a row?
I agree.
How could they have won 9 SEC games in a row and not be ranked? I mean, before they beat Auburn, they had won 8 in a row. And I'm thinking, isn't SEC the best league in the team in the league? I mean, best league in the country, and this team has beat everybody.
Yes, they are the best. They're definitely the best. And yeah, Arkansas, I mean, they had losses. You won 9 straight. It is kind of disrespectful that they are.
Yeah. And so, yeah, go ahead.
Ranked.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just crazy. Everybody says it. I felt like this team was as hot as any. This team is as hot. I'm not saying they're as good as Baylor, but they were playing as hot as Baylor, or better than Baylor was actually when Baylor came into Tuscaloosa, and since Baylor left. And so to me, if Arkansas picks back up, we're going to look at the end of the season, Joe, if they get going right, and guess what? It's going to be another big win on Alabama's schedule because I think Arkansas is going to make Alabama's schedule even tougher than what we thought because I don't think this team is going away. I mean, they did have a lot to do with it, but I'm like you, I do feel better about this team after a gutsy, tough, didn't play great, didn't do some things right, win. They still got to win after 24, giving up 24 turnovers and 21 offensive rebounds. Let's bring in Robert to see what he has to say. Robert, you went to Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Well, I was going to change the conversation.
You can. We'll circle back to
Superbowl last night.
Yeah, we can circle back.
It reminded me that despite whatever they were all trying to do, defense this season at least wins championships because both the college and the NFL was going off their defense this year. Championship. The quarterback did good enough, but the defense were the main stars. Hey, who was the MVP of Super Bowl last night? I forgot to watch.
Cooper Kupp got it, and you can't argue with that. He ended up with 8 catches and 2 touchdowns. And on their last drive, Robert, he was big time. But I'm gonna tell you who I probably would have gave it to Aaron Donald. Did Robert go away? Did we lose Robert? I would have probably gave it to Aaron Donald. I don't know if you saw that. He kind of made the tackle similar to what Jordan Battle made against Auburn when he pulled the guy out of bounds. Aaron Donald was being blocked and grabbed P. Ryan, the running back, and kept him from getting that first down. Literally just looked like he was going to run for the first down, stopped him in his tracks, then came back and made that big time play on Burrow on 4th down where he didn't sack him, but he really made him throw the ball up in the air. So, if Robert, you back? All right.
He's with us. Go ahead, Robert.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear him. Let's just go back to football for a second. Despite everything they tried, defense still wins championships. And in the college and the NFL, the defense has won the championship for both teams this year. I can't hear you, but who won the MVP when I'll take up a list. And I like to hear comments also on what Harskins said he's coming back. What do you think about that?
Yeah, first of all, I've said earlier, Cooper Kupp won, deservedly so, won MVP, 8 catches, 2 touchdowns, and a drive of a lifetime where they knew they were going to go to him, and he showed why. If not moving forward, at least for 2021, he's the best receiver in the game, and he was able to get that unbelievable move at the goal line and got that touchdown. And then he also got that 4th down at their 30 that kept that 15-play drive alive. So rightfully so. Like I said, I probably would have gave it to Aaron Donald, but can't argue with who got it. And kudos to the Rams for that win, and Ashawn Robinson in terms of what he was able to do. He had a game for a defensive lineman. And a lot of times, fortunately or unfortunately, that was over a former Bama player as well. And then we'll talk more about Harsin probably as we move throughout the week. But Brian Harsin back in at Auburn. I'm not shocked by that. I don't think Auburn could find a reason to get rid of him without having to pay $18.3 million, and he wasn't going to let them ruin his name and his reputation and his career. So that was about the only outcome you could see happening, unless he fessed up to something that he did or did not do, and he said he didn't. So not surprised by that. So we'll talk more about Brian Harsin and what's going to happen at Auburn because they still got a long way to go to be ready to play football in 2022. Tom, you're in with the Martin Hughes Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Go back to basketball if you don't mind.
That's totally fine.
The turnover. If you're a fan like I am, and you're hoping that we can run this thing as far as we can go and do well in the SEC tournament,
and the NCAA tournament, the turnovers are a real concern. And I wonder if we just don't have the right mindset for the ball. We don't value the ball at times as much as I'd like to see us do it. But and another thing is that dribble, around and around out front. Shaq and Quinlan. Look, if you have, Coach Sanderson says it better than anybody. You dribble to get somewhere. You know what I mean? And and a pass. You know, if you're not going anywhere, give the ball up and make a pass. And quit running in the middle in there when there's 5 guys standing in the lane and you're determined you're going to go anyway. That's not going to work. And that's where a lot of these, both of these things is where a lot of these turnovers come from. And I don't understand guys that's been playing as long as these guys have not figured that out.
Well, I think some of it, Tom, comes from you thinking you're faster than everybody, and I think J.D. Davison still has some learning to do. By now, Quinterly ought to know better. Shaq, and Shaq, to me, Shaq's ball handling actually helps him. His ability to get to the goal actually helps him with his 3-point shot. So I think sometimes he's trying to make that guy guard against him driving to get a better 3. But yeah, I know this sounds basic, but this is one of the things I teach to little kids. Tom, the fastest man in the world can't run as fast as a crisp pass.
Right.
Okay. So if you have me, if I'm in a zone, if I'm in zone, if other teams in zone, then I can move the ball faster than he can move. If they're playing man, I run some pick and rolls or something, or I do enough movement. I run some rub plays where I run, maybe run my 3-point guy from one side of the court to the other, so that the defense has to chase, and as he has to chase, he knows where he's going, and the other guy doesn't. So I have some picks set up, some rub routes to get. I call it route in football, but rub plays to get that guy open, and I'm ready to make that pass when he breaks around that guy and he's ready to take the shot. So yeah, moving the ball in the air through the pass is definitely a better way to get guys open. But remember, Tom, his thing is drive and kick. So if that's the way they're going to try to score, sometimes it's the way he calls the offense. Huh?
He changed that. In one of his press conferences. He finally come out and said, which I had seen a lot of this going on, but I would love to see a little bit going on Saturday. But he said we've got people that have got to go seek opportunities to set a screen for our shooters, and we don't do that enough.
Right.
And so, but yeah, we come out there, dribble, and hang on to the ball when passing would be the better option. Anyway, I think that's what contributes to so many turnovers.
Well, the more you dribble, I think the more chance you have to make a turnover. Yeah, and it's also you're more likely to have the ball stolen, or you dribble it out of bounds, or you lose control of it. So,
Let me ask you
go ahead.
In basketball, if I'm the point guard, I'm coming down the court, right, and I'm trying to get the offense set and everything like that. But when I make a pass that's over 20 feet, okay, I make a pass that's over 20 feet, I'm going to move that defense. They're going to move to that ball, are they not?
If they don't, then I should have an open shot, or I shouldn't be making that type of. I shouldn't be making that type of pass.
But if I'm dribbling, if I stand out there and dribble, I just send one guy out there and he can guard me all day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't score. You can't score in basketball unless you have the ball. So if one guy's going to dribble it out, then it makes if the ball's in one spot, it makes it a lot easier to play defense unless you have a ball handler like
Coach
you
Dolan
know.
used to say David Palmer was the best player on the team. But if I put him at quarterback, everybody wanted David Palmer at quarterback, which I did too. I was one of them. And I thought, yeah, we got David Palmer at quarterback. Nobody's going to stop our offense.
Yeah.
And they probably wouldn't have. But Coach Dolan said, I'm not putting him at quarterback. And the reason I'm not going to put him at quarterback, he's in one place and everybody knows where he is. And they can
That's right. Yep, I remember him saying that. Yep. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate you, sir. All right, coming back on the other side. We're gonna still talk a little basketball. We hadn't talked about that big change that Nate Oates made. And Curtis Lewis asked a question I'd like to get your thoughts on as listeners, as well as yours, Joe. Curtis said he read an article that said that J.D. Davison is a lock as a first round lock in the middle round. I'd like to get your thoughts on that as well. If you want to get in on the conversation, 205-342-9904. And while you're out today looking around or shopping, you can do it from home, or while you're out, Alabama One, alabama1.org is where you can find out more about our credit card promotion, balance transfer promotion, as well as our home equity line of credit promotion. Both of those promotions will help stop or slow down the impact of interest rates on you. Get that zero balance transfer, no fees added to that transfer in 6 months, no APR on that credit card transfer. Come check us out. That's Alabama One, alabama1.org.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Towson Nissan Traffic Center, here we go on a Monday morning. It's Valentine's, so show some love and just slow down and be careful. If you do see conditions throughout the day that folks need to hear about, give me a call. Take advantage of the Valentine savings today at Towson Nissan. They're your hometown dealer, and you'll love the deals. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama One, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
What is the Towson Nissan difference? Pricing is made easy, payments and finance options are made easy, and your trade-in value is very easy here at Towson Nissan. No games, no gimmicks, just a super easy at-home buying experience right here at Towson Nissan. And with pre-owned vehicles starting at $14,995 and all pre-owned units are clearly priced, your total shopping experience will be easy here in a safe and secure environment versus those big city dealers. And the funnest part will be deciding which Towson Nissan vehicle you would take home today.
Work is a part of all of us. Working drives us to push beyond what we thought was imaginable and allows us to come together again for the things that really matter. That's why the Alabama Department of Labor and the Alabama Career Center system is here to help you discover bigger opportunities than ever before. Visit your local career center or alabamaworks.alabama.gov. Funding provided by the USDOL, PTA, and Federal WIOA, the Equal Opportunity Employer Program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request. Brought to you by the station and the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Hey, Alabama One Insurance, Review your coverage, reduce your premium, and relax knowing you're properly covered. You get that and more at Alabama One Insurance. AlabamaOneInsurance.com, where you can find them online. Physically stop by our main location on Veteran Memorial Parkway, and we'll be glad to assist you. That's Alabama One Insurance. Once again, review your coverage, reduce your premium, and relax knowing you're properly covered. And hey, listen, if you're like everybody else, you're seeing those inflation take its toll, insurance rates going up. And that's the beauty of working with Alabama One. We're an independent agency, and we have multiple companies. We'll do the shopping for you, and you don't have to run around town to all of the different agencies. We have great companies. Check us out, AlabamaOneInsurance.com. All right, let's get to Pat. Pat, you've been patient. You're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir? Pat, you still there? Hello?
Goodbye.
All right, Pat's not there. Pat, give us a buzz back if you want to get in on the conversation. Anyway, Joe, as we look at Alabama basketball, several comments being made, and like I said, I did not see the game, but you're able to go back and read and stuff like that and see. And he was saying, if you watch the game, you should see that we're a much better team when Quinterly's on the bench. 2 separate times we built double-digit leads with him on the bench, only to lose them when he came in. Once again, we end the half with a chance for a last shot, and he dribbled around and threw it away, never getting a shot. But sure, not sure what's going on, but he's not playing as good as last year. And plus minus matters in terms of when guys play and how they play and how the team plays when they're on the court. From what happened Saturday, you see that Quinterly was not the guy, and I guess that kind of brings you to Davison, Joe. And Curtis Lewis asked a question, someone said that he's a lock for first round. Do you feel at this point that J.D. Davison is a first round guy?
He absolutely is a lock for a first round pick. As much as sometimes we've been a little disappointed in what we've gotten out of him. The NBA doesn't really. The NBA would drafts off potential, and J.D. Davison's potential is still very, very high. His youth and athleticism make him an incredibly intriguing prospect, and he's absolutely going to be a first round pick. It's just going to be a matter of where he's picked at this point. Anywhere probably between 9 and probably 25, 26.
Yeah.
I talked to a scout at the last time I was at a game, the Kentucky game. And we were kind of talking before the game. I said, well, I wonder. I know the Alabama fan base has been a little underwhelmed by J.D. Davison. I asked him. I said, well, has the scouting community felt the same way? And he assured me. He said, no, absolutely not. That he's still viewed as a very, very big time prospect.
And part of that is that they think they can get that out of him, right? I mean, one is the speed of the game. I think is his biggest problem. Number one. Number two is, was Primo really playing any better than him at this point as far as contributing to winning? Primo didn't have to handle the ball as much. If you of course. So our biggest problem with JD to me has been his turnovers. Would that be your biggest problem?
Oh yes, for sure.
But I think some of that, and CJ Watson has said this. I think he's been trying to distribute so much. Is he more of a this is not a good analysis this year, but West Brick. I mean West. I didn't mean to call the man West.
What's the scoring first point guard?
That's what I was trying to get out. I was not trying to be funny with the,
He's kind of like Colin Sexton a bit.
Colin Sexton, and and that's the thing. But early on, I think he was trying to make sure his teammates didn't think he was selfish, and there was times that he could,
I totally agree with you. I think he deferred way too much, and I think in the last couple of weeks we've seen him kind of be more assertive.
Yeah, and he there was times he could have finished at the rim in early games, and he didn't, and he seems to be trying to finish more at the rim, which will make him better at passing the ball actually, because now you won't drop off of him. You will do everything you can to stop him if he's going up strong at the rim. Virgil Williams pointed out something, said he dribbles facing, the defenders a lot. So I think his ball handling will have to get better, but and that can be done. And until that happens, I think that may be what Nate Oates is talking about. When you have a ball handler that his first step is unbelievable, Joe. Like if he gets going, he's by you. But I don't know if his ball handling keeps up with his speed. Does that make sense? Like sometimes.
I think sometimes you said it just a minute ago. The speed of the game. I think his brain kind of is catching up with the college speed.
Right.
When he shuts his brain off and just plays, I think he can be very effective.
Yeah, and sometimes I think when he's handling the ball, he knows where he wants to go, but his ball handling is not as fast as his feet yet. Like of course using Steph Curry as a ball handler is sometimes unfair, and Trae Young, but those types of guys, man, their ball handling is as fast as their brain and their feet. He still has to get a little bit better, and I think that's part of the reason he faces up versus putting his body to the side sometimes, or between the ball carrier and others, because he doesn't have that. He's not as quick off the dribble, just taking you one-on-one sometimes. But that's where a ball screen helps. And as Tom pointed out, Nate Oates said we need to do that a little bit more. And I think it needs to be not always a call play. I think you wonder sometimes, Joe, like with my little kids, I have to tell them, hey, go screen, go pick. But when you go outside and play, it's been a while since I played, just on the street. But we would be playing, and you could tell the guys who played together the most, because guy would be dribbling the ball. The next thing you know, a guy from the low post would come up and set a screen, and that guy would be gone. And I think that if you add that to him, I think what we're going to see with Davison is similar to what we saw with Primo, because Primo got better and better and better down the stretch, and I think that's what we're going to see with J.D. Davison. And we're beginning to see it. He just has to figure out his turnovers. Any other closing thoughts on Primo or the game from Saturday?
I just thought that it was great to pull out a win anytime, with the 20 turnovers or with the 20 plus offensive rebounds. To pull out a win, you look at the last bit of the game, Martin, and you throw the ball down low to Noah Gurley, and a guy that we've been really critical of this year goes and finds himself two tough buckets,
yes,
to win Alabama the game, and then on the defensive end, closing out the game with a defensive stop. So, despite the ugliness during the game, when it came down to winning time, Alabama coming up with some big plays. I got to give some props for that. And really just all focus ahead. Mississippi State this week. We got to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, we beat Mississippi State. If we beat Mississippi State, Joe, I think Kentucky will be a tough one on Saturday, but I think this team could easily end the season with a 8-1 record. I mean 7-1 record. Mississippi State.
And Mark, just to make it extra relevant for all the fans, according to some of the bracketologists, if Alabama beats Mississippi State on Wednesday night, they have locked themselves into the tournament, no matter what.
Wow. That's hey, listen, Joe. That win Saturday, by the end of the year, it's going to be another top. It's going to be another, because I think Arkansas, that team that played Saturday that had just beat Auburn, it wasn't a fluke. And we had to play a different style game than we had just beat Ole Miss with, and we did it. And part of that, Joe, I know Curtis Lewis is loving life. We talked about them having to play some zone, and did that zone contribute to as well as help both sides of a statistical category? We'll talk about that on the other side right here. Alabama playing a little dominant one defense on Saturday against Arkansas. We'll talk about why they did it, what was the positive and the negative of that defense, and will we see more zone from Bama, and will that be part of the ticket for them being successful into the playoff, into the tournament? We'll talk about that more right here on the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Towson Nissan Traffic Center, no wrecks, but traffic moving pretty well. Some minor buildup on McFarland at US 43 and 69 in Northport. They're laying steady southbound into downtown. If you see other conditions, give me a call. Take advantage of the Valentine savings today at Towson Nissan. They're your hometown dealer, and you'll love the deals. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. A natural gas explosion late yesterday afternoon near the Perry County town of Uniontown got everyone's attention. The explosion of the Southern Natural Gas pipeline on Woodlawn Church Road resulted in a fire. That pipeline is owned by Kinder Morgan Energy. Company emergency crews have shut down the pipeline and are making repairs and investigating what caused it. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage. It's free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
TrackBone wants to know, are you an influencer, a big live streamer? No? Then guess what? You don't need an endless data plan. Get just the right amount of data with TrackBone's $40 unlimited talk and text smartphone plan. Now with 8 gigs of high-speed data in unlimited carryover on America's largest, most dependable network, now with 5G. Get the data you need at the price you want. TrackBone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at trackphone.com.
Dell Technologies President's Day business sale has arrived. For a limited time, save up to 45% on all our latest gear to work from anywhere with fast free shipping. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business, so now's the time for incredible savings on PCs, along with servers, monitors, and docks, all with free shipping and quick installation and setup through Dell Installation Services. Get started by shopping online or contacting your Dell Technologies advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. Again, the number to call is 877-ASK-DELL.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, Manya, how to finish it up.
Welcome back in. It is the fourth and final quarter of today's program. Of course, we hadn't talked much about the Super Bowl, but hey, kudos to the LA Rams and the Bama players on that team. Ashawn Robinson having a big game. If you want to talk more about that, hey, we got all week to rehash and look at that. The Rams went out and got their man, Matthew Stafford, and he took care of business. They brought him in. And they brought in Von Miller and they brought in OBJ, and they said, we're winning the Super Bowl this year. They did it. Kind of remind me, was it the Marlins, Joe, that did that a few years ago back in baseball, where they bought, and then the next year was a wholesale fire for their players. They won the World Series, and then that was
thinking Marlins circa 03, 04.
yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. So we'll see if the Rams brings back these guys. But anyway, we were talking about J.D. Davison in the break before we went to break there. Joe, if you had not said what you said, I probably would have been less likely him to be a mid-round lock. I would have thought late round, early first round, second round. But you reminded me the NBA doesn't draft off of how well a kid plays in college. They draft off of what they think their ability to get that young man playing at their level. They believe that the Seth Currys are out there that show skill set but need just to mature, and they believe that they can do it. So it totally makes sense. C.J. Watson saying his ball handling is a lot like his passing at time is soft, meaning not firm, strong passes. Sexton could make a hole in the floor dribbling and passes that jam receiver fingers. JD dribbles soft and passes soft, but his potential is ridiculously high. Thus, to Joe saying that he's a mid-round lock, maybe top 10. And I think if he fixes the dribbling with the way the NBA game is, Joe, I think he has the potential to be an even higher round pick if he fixes that before he goes, because his potential is going to get him there. And then if he starts executing the way he's done at times, the last few games, I think we're going to see a guy. What was it? One point in the Arkansas game, he just took over. He had seven points in a row. Ended up being the leading scorer, and I think that's what they see, Joe. So, and then when you look at a diamond in one, we finally got some zone. And why do you go to zone? A diamond in one, not just a zone, but why did he choose diamond in one? Diamond in one, you got four guys. It's a variation of the box in one. And in it, you have one guy who's chasing the ball carrier, and we know that Arkansas came in with the top scorer in the SEC, and he was able to we were able to get him in foul trouble. That helped without a doubt. But then he was harassed, and who knows if that extra harassment, Joe, did not pay dividends when he had to take that last shot. His legs weren't as good as they would have been because he had to work a lot harder to get the ball during the game, and so as a result, and then I also think, Joe, it left a rim protector in there, in Bediako, and he was able to be around that rim, and they were 9 for 25 in layups and dunks. That only happens because you have somebody contesting at the rim, or making people adjust their shots before they get to the rim. The only problem, Joe, one of the negatives of the the diamond in one, is if everybody don't get a receiver, God, get a body on their guy, the other team gets a lot of offensive rebounds. So we kind of saw all of that potentially play out. And fortunately for Alabama, it played out in such a way that we were able to get away with the 1-point win. Crazy. Joe telling us that some of the bracketologists saying that if Alabama beats Mississippi State, that they're in. They're in. That's good news, but I want to see this team go on a run where they win, 6, 7, 8 games out of the next 6, 7, 8 games. So, and if they get past Kentucky, they literally could have an 8-game streak to end the season. Wouldn't that be something? You wouldn't want to see this team coming into the tournament on an 8-game win streak. But we'll continue to talk about that. We'll talk more about Mississippi State on tomorrow with DC. We'll break down the Super Bowl with him as well, and we'll get his thoughts on the hard-fought Arkansas game. Hey, we'll continue to move forward. Alabama spring game set. We'll talk about that and what that means. But you're listening to the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9, and we do it every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7. Thanks to all the caller, listener, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the program. We'll be back tomorrow and hope you will as well. Trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide and have a blessed day, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9.
Have a great one, Joe.
100.9 app.